This is none other than B. Brown the Revolutionary.
And Sunshine La Reina. Now, in the past couple of weeks, couple of days, couple of whatevers, I've been seeing so much about Suki and Sexy Red and how they are a representation and a negative representation of the black woman. And my question has always been, how do either of these women represent me as a black woman?
Exactly. They can't even represent me because we're not even in the same age range.
That's my whole thing. Sexy Red is 25. Now, I'm not going to hold you. When I was 25, I had two children. However, if I would have been 25 with no kids, lit in the streets, partying, like for real. Sukihana is 31 years old. When I was 31, I had four kids. Mind you, they are both still relatively young women. My whole question is this: how do any of their actions represent me or even you as a black woman?
They don't, but we love to throw black women into a category that has something to do with negativity.
Facts.
You don't never hear them say, oh, Michelle Obama is a representation of all black women.
Facts. Serena
Or,
Williams,
yeah,
Sierra, the
yeah,
countless amount of black women that do so many, even even the non-famous black women that do the countless things to uplift and uphold the black community. They are
yeah,
never the fucking standard. Never.
exactly.
It's like, why do we as black women hold on to the negative aspects? And it's not even our own. These are not even like the thought processes of our own people. These are the people that we are trying to assimilate to be, and their negative attributes of us as black women. You feel me? Like, okay, so they say that Sukihana and Sexy Red are negative because I listen to both of their music. I do. I'm not gonna hold you. They're raunchy. They are raw. They're
Yeah,
explicit.
yeah.
They are quote unquote, and I say quote unquote because people's levels are different. They are quote unquote vulgar to some people.
Mhm.
However, my question is, to whose standards? That's always been my question. To whose standards is it vulgar? To whose standards is it raunchy? To whose standards is it negative? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
is it your perspective, or is it the perspective of the people whose accolades, whose, like, positivity, whose, like, I can't figure out the word I'm trying to say, but like, you're seeking the approval of a particular community that will never truly accept you because of who you are as a person. So whose standards are you trying to attain to? Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, but all in all, I just feel like, these people really just can't see past their shoelaces. All they see is something negative that they deem as negative, and they love to just put all of the black women into one category. Mind you, when it's something positive like Shakira Richardson
Fact.
being the fastest woman in the world, um, along with all these other great athletes that's surrounding her, they got second and third place and whatever, whatever. The fact that they even made it, we don't never hear anything about she is representing the black women well. No, No, and that's for that reason why Sha'Carri said she has experienced the world turning on her, so she's not worried about the world. She's doing it for her. And I fully understand her for that because at the end of the day, that's how people do you. And that's how people are doing black women as a whole.
Facts. How? Okay, so my all right. My whole thing is this. So every other woman, save the black woman, is allowed her sexuality.
Mhm.
The woman is allowed to express herself and be X, Y, and Z. This, that. Like in recent posts against Suki Hana's recent actions at I don't even know what award it was, the VMAs or whatever award that just happened.
VMAs.
Yeah, she was on the carpet or whatever. Like, do your thing. She looked cute. I ain't gonna hold you. That gray was popping. Anyway, they were like she ratchet all kinds of things that in the third. But my whole and then and I applaud her for she her most recent post was of Anna Nicole Smith. God rest her dead. Anyway, Anna Nicole Smith with like her bare breasts out at an award ceremony. And
Mhm.
seeing her, it's like when you have women like that, why is it that women like Suki Hana and Sexy Red represent black women, yet women like Anna Nicole Smith and women of that nature don't represent white women? Anna Nicole Smith, Casey Anthony, Carolyn Bryant. Why are they never like these are women that represent white women? Why is it that and I look around and I see it is only black people that hold negative representations of black people against black people.
Well, you,
They don't do that.
this is true. I mean, thing is this: they get together and stomp down on other races. Other races get together and stomp down on other races. I just don't see a lot of other races. I mean, I'm not saying it don't happen. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying overall, most of the time it's always our own people that are criticizing us more than any other race. They never stand up for us. They never do it. They never do.
But
This is where their mind frame is at right about now, and it has been for a long time. That's all they know how to do. And it's a lot of them. It's like all you got to do is go into the comments and you'll see for yourself.
these are facts. My whole thing is this: it's just like Suki Hana and Sexy Red may have represented me as a woman of that age.
Yeah.
They are 25 and 31, and people forget that. It's like I have children. I have a 25-year-old, a almost 17-year-old, a 12-year-old, and 11-year-old. I know the exact person I was that age. I am not going to hold like I'm not going to hold my child to a higher standard than I was myself at that age. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't understand why, and I really mean it is only black people. Only black
Mhm.
people hold each other to these standards. It truly is. It's like because Sexy Red, once again, she is 25. 25. Sukihana is 31. I will be 43 in April. There is no way in life that either of these women represent me as a person. We as black people are not a monolith, and we are the only people that are treated as such. Case in point, a palm colored person shoots up a school, kills some people. They're a lone wolf. They are allowed their individuality. Whereas black people, we are never allowed individuality and we are never allowed positivity. You don't see anything positive being as like, oh, this represents black people. This is how black people are. It's only the negative.
That's
We're
right.
thugs, we're hoes, we're X, Y, and Z, we're this and we're that. It's like, why it's only in a negative fashion that black people are seen as a collective.
Well, I have to come in on this part and say this. I want to say because we have accepted it in our community, in our music, and in our conversation, as far
Mhm.
as um, relationships. You see guys calling their girlfriends my ride or die bee and all this type of stuff. So it's like it's been formulated into our culture because that's what has become the norm for
I
you,
mean,
the black people. I'm just keeping it real.
I mean, okay, as far as like a ride or die type bitch, and this is on, we all grown, we all say words, we all say things, and it is what it is. So as far as like a ride or die like that, that's something different to me. It's like it's all the negative attributes of black people that are that are stapled onto black people. It's never like a positive thing. It's never like um what is the young girl's name that just won her first US Open and just won like all that like the positive stuff.
Isn't her
You
name Coco?
Coco something, Coco Gafal something like that. It's always a negative. There is
Hmm.
never positive when it comes to black people. It's always a negative, and it bothers me like a lot. It's just like let's negate that whole thought process. Let's go back to Sexy Red and Suki.
Hmm.
These two young and black women that happen to celebrate their sexuality. They happen to celebrate all the things that they do, like all that good shit. Like they celebrate that, whatever. Why is it that black women are the only women, and you can look at this throughout history, through like even now, damn history, even now, black women are basically the only women that are not allowed to celebrate their sexuality, who they are as people. They aren't allowed to be free with themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, they're allowed to be free. Look at the things going on in the news right now. It's just
Hmm.
negative aspect is
Well,
ash to black women. Why is that?
because that's how, it's been painted for such a long time. And we even talked about this before, and I feel like we need to revisit this conversation once a year. The same reason why that is the type of music that is pushed down our throats and in our ears, in our face, loud and obnoxious every time. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have any bops. I mean, it's good for a little ratchetry here and there if you going out and having a few drinks with your friends. But like, that is definitely not the only music that's out here that can be seen more. Like, they only show and put that type of music and image in our face when it comes to black culture, especially when it comes to music.
I just I want to understand the thought process. I really think that's what bothers me. It's just that why is it that anything and everything that happens to do with the black community is a negative aspect? It's a negative. It's never a positive. It's never, well, they won awards, they did this, they're the highest of this, they're the highest of that. Like that's never a part of the of black talk. Do you know what I'm saying? It's always messy. It's always like bullshit. It's always like vitriol. It's stupidity. There
Well,
should be no reason. that the likes and I do not mean any disrespect to either of these women.
Mhm.
Wholeheartedly, I mean no disrespect. I fucked with Suki. Sexy Red is the Aries. She gang gang on gang gang on gang gang for real for real. She Aries. However, there is no reason that these women in their freedom, and I think that's I really think that's the problem. I really feel like that in the United States, because I don't mean American, because America is a big place. It's North America, that's Canada, the United States, Mexico, like South America. It's a lot of America. In America, the black woman is like there's still like this somewhat of a slave mentality when it comes to black women. So
Yeah.
we how
This
to
is
be a particular being. And then in essence, when you have women like Suki Hana and Sexy Red that are just like, no, this is who I am. This is where I come from. This is what I embody. This is who I am as a person. And they see that as a negative and they want to attribute that to the entire community. When there are women like myself, like yourself, my mother, your mother, countless other women that are just such positive influences in the black community, and then these two particular women are just like the detriment. Why is that?
right. It's almost giving mammy culture. Can,
Facts.
can you feel me when I say that?
Facts. Facts.
Because
Wholeheartedly.
in the mammy culture, we're supposed to take care of everybody else but our own. We're never
Hmm.
supposed to have our head up, our chest out, our hair done, nails done, toes done, riding a nice car, taking care of our own. We're supposed to be worried about everybody else except for our own.
And I get that. I get that most people see black and that's also a problem for me. Every ethnicity, and I say ethnicity because ethnicity, race, and nationality are different. Every ethnicity sees the black woman as like a home space, as a person that's supposed to like be the cause, like the root, like the base of the issue, and yet we are the most disrespected and the most neglected. And it's just like, how do you expect us to continuously do what you expect us to do when we have no help on the outside? Like people are saying like you're a woman of color. I am never a woman of color. I'm not a woman of color or a person of color. I'm a black woman. Because people of color, at the end of the day, they still call me derogatory names.
Yeah.
And as a black woman, I stand alone. You know what I'm saying? However, it's like back
I
to them.
mean,
It's always a collective thing. It's just everything negative they attribute to a black woman is never a positive. Why is that?
I mean, why can't they live their life out loud, um, ratchet and fun? They're young. I mean, it's plenty of people that do it outside of just those two, and it's other people that do it that's not black as well, other women. But
Mm-hmm.
that is the magnifying glass on them. Once again, it takes our people to go on Twitter and make stuff start trending instead of something trending that makes sense or something trending that is just a flip side of this conversation. It always has to be something negative that they see with their eyes instead of positive stuff. I mean, it's just tiring. I mean, at the end of the day, how old? 25 and 31.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could argue that they should be doing more because they got children, but baby, let's be real. That's not the world we live in.
At all. It's, however, like my question is always likely in this. Like when it comes to everything negative, you attribute it to like the black woman. Like it's
Yeah,
not. There are a million Michelle Obamas.
yeah,
There are a million Cocos, Serena Williams,
yes.
Sierra, Jasmine Williams. Yeah, there are a million of these beautiful, successful, positive black women. However,
CEO.
exactly, CEOs, nurses, lawyers, doctors, all of that. You never attribute that to black women. It's always the negative aspects of black women that you see. Why is that? Why? And it's bothersome to me. Like Sukihana, every time somebody posted something negative about her actions on that whatever carpet she was on, she posted a woman of another ethnicity doing worse. She
Mm,
posted Anna Nicole Smith with her breasts out on stage at an award ceremony. Why
wow.
was why was that not attributed to white women? Why are people like Carolyn Bryant? Why is Carolyn Bryant not um a negative figure to like the white community? Why is Casey Anthony not a poor representation of white women? Why are all the Karens not poor representations of white women? Because they are allowed their individuality. However, I want to make a point. And individuality does not lack the fact that there is still a community. Do you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Just because I'm an individual black woman, that does not mean that I am not a part of a collective of people. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
So most people get it misconstrued. Just because I don't identify at this moment in my life with Sexy Red and Sukiana, I identify with them as black women. I have been their age
Mm-hmm.
both times with children. Why is it that their overt sexuality is a negative attribute to myself as a black woman? Why is that?
And not only that, but they are never seen in any of the different lights because a lot of people don't know that Suki do a lot in the community as well.
Hmm.
You'll never hear about that, but you know why? Because that's not the type of stuff that the world won't even look at. They want the ratchetry. It
Hmm.
won't go because they don't care. They want something to be negative about and something to talk about a person about. So that's just the culture that we are in right now. And it's really sad, but it is the truth.
However, why? Okay, so once again, I can only speak for black people because I'm a black woman. Why is it that it's only black people that
Yeah.
are together in such a fashion? If
Yeah.
a white boy pew pews up a school, he's a lone wolf, lone this, lone that. They're all separated. They're individuals. It's an individual process. This does not reflect upon us as a community of people.
No.
However, when it comes to black people, it's a collective. And you know what? And I don't want to go too deep with folks. However, I'm gonna say what I want to say because why? I fucking said so. As black people, we are taught that suffering brings us paradise. And that is why we suffer on this earth as black people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like think
Hmm.
of the slavery and like all of that good stuff. and I'm not going to delve too much into that right now. We'll do that on another day. It's like black people have been ingrained. It's like it's ingrained in our DNA to seek out and accept the negative and never see the
Mhm.
positive.
Yep.
It's like it's truly like ingrained. It's like we see shame and hardship and cruel. We never see like the positivity in anything, and it's just like it's been ingrained in us from
Mhm.
mama to my granny to my great granny. Keep it.
Mhm.
I speak the truth. It's just like it's ingrained in us, and it's just like we are never told that there is any kind of positivity in us. There's
Mhm.
only negativity, and the negativity can only be shown and displayed while the positivity is an individual form and as not of us as a collective. Like why is that?
I think it goes back to the age-old conversation, the
Oh,
field, the boat, the brainwashing. So I just feel like it goes all the way back there. You know, we don't even like to lift ourselves up in a good light. So why would anybody else do it? And I'm not speaking for all of us. Please don't believe that.
please,
I'm
because
just saying the overall situation goes. Because I said this long time ago. If I go on my Facebook page and talk about all of my anguishes and things that I'm going through, oh baby, they coming through to comfort me. I'm talking about
facts.
we praying
All
for
every
you. Just keep your head up. God got you. But as soon as I say something like, oh my gosh, I finally did it, y'all. I begged the booking of a lifetime. I can't wait. It's not gonna be the same reaction.
hmm
When it's some positive news, it's crickets. People don't want to hear about that. But if you say something going on, somebody done died in the family, or you going through, I'm about to give up, baby, they come running like Captain Save a hose.
it's sickening. It's somewhat weird to me.
It's very weird to me.
It's somewhat weird. It's because it's just like, and I've said this countless of times. It's just like, and there is a difference between a capital B and a lowercase b.
Hmm.
People with a capital B have been taught that suffering is our means of salvation.
Yeah.
It's weird to me. It's like there is some perverse kind of revelation and satisfaction in women like Sukihana and Sexy Red. It's just weird. It's like it solidifies your fact that black women are insidious and like vulgarly sexual when it's
Mhm.
just we're not vulgarly sexual. We're just sexual.
Well, we can't get that same type of reaction when we have these women getting these doctorate degrees and finishing law school and stuff like that. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, it's not even. It's just like it's not even about it. It's just black women have been, even myself, I've been taught to be just chaste, to be selective. And don't get me wrong, ain't nothing wrong with being selective with who you lay with. Trust anybody. And it's just the freedom of sexuality has been denied the black woman so much that women like Sexy Red and Sukihana who embrace it and who embody it and who live in their sexuality as women is just such a complete turnoff. It's so vile and vulgar when it's like, no, this is, do you not comprehend that women are also sexual beings? That there are women that just desire sex. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with just desiring sex and that feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. However, there's such a misogynistic and patriarchal system that has been ingrained. Don't get it twisted in yourself and even in myself. There's a misogynistic and patriarchal tone that tells us that women like Sexy Red and Suki are vulgar, that
Hmm.
they see us as black people and as a collective when they are individuals, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, it's the vulgar, it's demeaning, it's dehumanizing when it's just embracing sex. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with embracing your sexuality. There's nothing wrong with embracing the things that you desire, the things that you want, the things that satisfy you, that state you as a person. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. However, in American society, because I'm an American and that's the only society I know, although I do delve in other cultures and societies and I understand and comprehend that sex is not something that's taboo. It's taboo in American society. I do digress. Anyway, like, sexuality is something that's completely taboo in American society. It's not something that is embraced. It's something that is to be shied upon, that's vulgar. Like,
Yeah.
our even our children, we teach our children like little cute names for their vagina and their penises, things like that. Like, it's it's something that is so completely taboo that we can't even discuss with it our children. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you see women like Sexy Red, when you see women like Sukihana, even at the times right now, Little Kim, Trina, Akinelli, like even us back in the day girls, when
Hmm.
you hear women that speak these lyrics about wanting sex and liking sex and like needing sex and like desiring it, it's like, yo, it's not supposed to be like that.
Right. And you still cannot take those two women and decide that's the representation for all black women. Period.
Exactly.
Point. Into the black.
Exact. First, they're young women in general. So, and then it's mm, child.
I mean,
It's
it's being unpacked in a lot of different ways, but overall, it's just more layers to black women than just this. So stop showing just that, or stop trying to categorize black women as just that. Can we talk about Sarah Jakes Roberts? I mean, like, come on. Can we say that we all like her?
because, girl, like, it's never a positive. There's never an upliftment. There's no encouraging. It's like every positive black woman is completely negated by anything that
Nor. Hmm.
patriarchal white supremacist society deems as immoral, and we
And
can't live.
that is true, but let me take it a step further and just say the trapped mind of the black people. I
That.
mean, they have a lot to do with this. I mean, I can't just put it on no other race. It's
Mhm.
us, most of it.
But you have to understand that black and indigenous black people, like the formerly enslaved black people, people that do not know their roots, black people, even in general, are rooted in white supremacy, rooted in it. So
That's
it's not so far fetched that because of the entrapment of white supremacy and the indoctrination of white supremacy, We hold these notions of black people and especially black women in general.
Well, same as the guy who was doing all of the gilly-gadding for Trump, and you was the only one still in jail, Mr. Black Man. Everybody else,
He got the
ev-
longest sentence.
yeah, you are the only one that's still in there. I guess you forgot that you were.
No. But see there once again, the difference in being a black person and a person of color. And I will never, I really do not care how anyone feels about it. I will never align myself with a person of color because a person of color still calls me particular things when I'm not around. Nonetheless, it's it's just, why are black people held to one standard and everyone else is held to another? Why are black people a collective? It is a whole. All of our black men are one thing. All of our black women are one thing. And also, all of our black women are one thing, yet a complete and total contradiction of said thing. It is especially our black women. Black women are the most underappreciated and unprotected being on this entire planet.
Yeah. But I don't know what it's gonna take. I think it's a conversation that need to be opened up in places where there are more black people, maybe even church. A matter of
No,
fact, I'm gonna say church because at the
mm,
end of that, to me, is a place where a lot of closed-minded people are, and conversations need to be had.
well, I think and okay, so church is a building. A lot of black people have shied away from religion and have come into spirituality, which is a whole completely different form. So the church, quote unquote, has no longer has its hold on the black community. And once again, church having its hold on the black community is rooted in white supremacy. It's rooted in the detriment of the
The
black community.
will come
So
get you for saying that.
what happened?
They'll come get you for saying that. You better stop. Mm.
I ain't gonna stop a goddamn thing. The hold of the church, the hold of Christianity, all the extra bullshit, that is nothing save white supremacy. It is a hold on the black thought process and the whole black everything. No, the black people were taught. No, I ain't got time, boss. I ain't got time, boss. No, boss. I'm gonna say what I want to say, boss. Nope. Mute the mic. Mute the mic. No, no. Religion was ingrained in the black community as a form of mental enslavement. I'ma say it again. I don't care, boss. Mental enslavement.
Go ahead. You have a right to say whatever you want to say here. This is freedom of speech.
They separated when they brought us over from Africa and our enslavement. They separated everyone, and the only thing that black people were given and taught that it was Bible was what? The motherfucking Bible.
Hmm.
Christianity is nothing save the enslavement and the continued mental, emotional, and spiritual enslavement of black people. I don't care how y'all feel about it. Talk to your mamas, talk to your grannies. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have a lot of people that will definitely disagree with you on it. They won't see.
Again,
But at some point in time, we're definitely gonna have this so we can bring all the facts out and a lot of different things that people can see in a different light. But honey, we just Not today.
Yeah, because it's too deep and y'all ain't ready. Y'all not ready for all the anyway. But like I'm saying, Suki Hana and Sexy Red do not represent me as somebody's 42-year-old grandmother.
True that.
They don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, it's time to stop having a thought process that as soon as you see something, you got to bring a negative comment behind it. Um, a lot of y'all don't even know how these women grew up. I'm actually proud of them for getting out of their situations.
Hey.
Um, getting out of because you know a lot of them came from the gutter.
Mhm.
Well, that these two women came from the gutter. And I'm glad to see that they have evolved and now they got money to take care of their children and move differently and change some lives more than anything. So
Mhm.
big ups to them because I mean, one thing about this world, it's gonna keep evolving.
Thanks.
It's gonna keep evolving, and this is not our. It's well, I feel like it's not my place or nobody else's place to try to say, hey, um, y'all ain't got no business doing stuff like that. Well, let's be honest. I'm sure it's a lot of stuff that some of y'all done did.
Mhm.
Back in the day, honey, that they people just didn't see it. We just see what they do.
Mhm. That's
That's
facts.
why they live out loud like they do. Because
Mhm.
you gotta let that stuff just bounce off of you at this point. Because
Facts.
if you do good, people gonna talk about you. You do bad, people gonna talk about
Mhm. And the thing of it is, more often than not, black folks are taught to live in shame. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and the
you. That's
shame, we're not taught to embrace. Black people are not taught to embrace their mistakes and learn from them. They're taught to have shame from them.
mm-hmm.
It's just, I just want to say to my black folks, because that's who I know, that's who I love, your mistakes are not your hardships or your downfalls. They're
That's
your mistakes
right.
to learn and grow from. And as a people, we have to learn to negate everything that we have ever been taught and come together as a community so that we can grow and flourish. And in our flourishing, you don't even understand how we can change the world
That's
because
right.
black people, and especially black women, I'm going to holler at y'all real quick. Black women are the most giving and loving and nourishing and caring and uplifting beings on this planet. And if no one ever told you, sister, my black queen, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
If no one ever told you, black men, you are wonderful providers and uplifters and fathers and leaders of our communities. And black men, I love you. I
Mm-hmm.
do. And as a community of people, we must unite and not under the gaze of white supremacy or the patriarchy or misogyny even. We have to come together as people so that as a people we can change the world. In essence, you have to comprehend in any land on this earth, there's a separation of us as people. And when we come together, like beautiful things happen.
That's
No,
right.
we are not a monolith of people. We are individuals. We are allowed our individuality. However, as a community of people, there's a difference in individuality and community. As a community of people, we can change the world. So I would love if every black person of any descent would learn community, love, learn everything that you can about upliftment and togetherness and use that in your everyday life.
Right. And can we start embracing each other more? I mean, you're just looking at these two women and you're just putting them in a category where you feel as if they're nothing. They're to this, they're to that. Well, you don't even know these women.
Hmm.
Well, really and truly, it's entertainment. I bet you they entertain.
Facts.
I bet that's one thing that they are doing. That's why they ended up at the VMAs because the VMAs know numbers and they know who to get for entertainment.
Round, round, bullet going round, my Gucci pink, my booty hole round. Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I can't fault these young folks for the music that they make and none of that. I'm just glad they're not in poverty. That's what I am glad because
Listen.
their story is not even over with. You don't even know what type of person they may end up being at 40 years old.
Hmm.
Honey, because if anybody know, if y'all know Sarah Jakes Roberts' story, honey, that's another story. We'll bring that another day. But what we're gonna say is, thank you guys for coming in and listening to us tonight. We'll be back soon, but keep your eyes and your ears open. Don't be so closed-minded. Sunshine,
Once again, as black people, we are not a monolith. We are not a collective of people. We are allowed to be individuals and yet instill a community. Learn to live and love within your community. Love to uplift the people that look like you. Learn to not live in the shame and learn to live in the progress of you as a person and as a community.
that's true. All right. Well, y'all have a blessed night, and we'll be seeing you guys on another night. Be blessed.
Be safe.